Hello everyone, welcome to Stitch Vlog 9, and here we are in a new year. This piece is coming along quite well. I'm pleased with progress so far. I'm on schedule and where I wanted to be, having finished all the colour work. We're going to start off with showing a little bit of the needle lace in progress. Sorry you can't actually see particularly what I'm doing, but it's single Brussels stitch, which is just a very simple loop over some felt padding, which you might remember from a few vlogs ago, and then some just satin stitch over the top. So it's raised it up quite a lot. It's quite the surface there. The threads I'm using are cotton embroidery number 25, the lighter purple one, which is the skein is undone there. That's an anchor one, and the one that's still intact, it looks like a skein of 6-stranded cotton, is the DMC one, which is actually easier to use, easier to get out of the skein. There was a little bit of needle lace on each of these floral motifs, and there's been some on the previous petals that I've shown you before. Moving on to the leaves, and all the leaves in each panel were actually worked differently. So the one that we've got here is the last one I did, which was the tulip, and they're in sort of opposite angle satin stitch. So I expect you know what satin stitch is, where you're putting these stitches just next to each other. This is slightly angled so that it does go round a little bit in line with the leaf, so it looks a little bit more natural. And the opposite angle means that I'm not going all the way across the leaf in one go. I'm working towards the veins, so the top bit goes diagonally and the other one is a little bit like a mirror image. Not quite, because they are at a different, they're going in different directions, shall we say. So it's not exactly mirror image. I'm just trying to make it as natural as possible. The iris that you saw me doing the needle lace on before, that has also satin stitch leaf, but there's just one row there. And the convolvulus, the blue flower, which you'll see shortly, that has fishbone stitch. So that makes a line down the middle all by itself. So you can see that here. That's just one lot of stitching there rather than two. And this is how far this particular part of the project has got. So we've got the tulip here with satin stitch leaves, and this side the iris with a single satin stitch, just one lot each time. That was quite tricky getting that angle around there. I wouldn't say I've been 100% successful, but it's still do, it's good enough. And then, as I said, the fishbone stitch here, and you can see all of these motifs have an element of needle lace in them. So that's how that's coming on. I'm hoping to get quite a bit of the outlining, because each one of these motifs is literally every single part of it is to be outlined with a fine gold thread, which is this. I mean, it's actually not that fine when I look at it, really. It seems to be quite relatively bulky, but that's one of the reasons why some of the lines are still visible around the edge, although I don't think you can see that on camera. But that's the next thing. Go around all of those, and then I can start looking at putting in the sort of edge trellis lines, but that's definitely not for the next week. This is the other piece that's in progress at the moment. I haven't done a great deal on this recently. Yesterday I put this long trailing thing of gold, the pearl in there. It's not, as I mentioned before, that particular brand of pearl is not so easy to work with. It's extremely stiff, but I've discovered that if I pull it really, really slowly, way slower than you can see here, it tends to work reasonably well. The next thing I've got my needle fastened on for is to work one of Louise's royal slugs there, which will look somewhat like this one, but the colours I've picked are slightly different. They're still brown and green, and you won't be able to tell the difference here, but they are actually slightly lighter than the other ones. So I'm going to have a go at working that tomorrow, all being well. That's pretty much it for progress this week, really. My last vlog, I was working on this piece, which has since been finished. If you've seen the floss tube, you'll have seen it. I'll zoom out in a minute so you can have a look at the full thing if you haven't seen that. A viewer called Eve asked me what chipping was. So this is the section I was working on. And what chipping is cutting up something like, in this case, this straight smooth wire, and then just sewing down the bits. This is hollow, so you can stitch through the middle. I'm not sure if you can quite see it there. You just stitch it down. This is done in a sort of seeded method, so the entire thing isn't full. It's just lots of little dots. There is another way, though. That is with these more textured wires. You can see these are sort of zigzaggy. And when you cut those up, they reflect the light rather a lot. So there's some of the larger ones in here. And in this piece here, you can see they're all closely packed together. So that's sort of a more traditional way of doing chipping. So I hope that answers the question. If not, please feel free to ask and I'll see if I can find any more examples. And here is the final finish of the Hand and Lock Couture class piece that I took from summer 22. I've mounted it as well, although it does need a bit of lacing as well. You can see just a tiny little bit of puckering starting there, so it could do with a little bit of a lace. And I noticed when I was showing it to somebody the other day that tiny little weevil had managed to crawl in, and there's a little dot somewhere, so I may need to redo some of it. The things that happen, it's crazy, isn't it? If you'd like to see more of what got finished last year, then please have a look at Floss Tube 3, which is a review of the entire of 2025. All the things that got finished as far as I possibly could, have them in my hands to show you. Some not because they were gifts. Have a look at that. And the Floss Tube for the beginning of this year will be coming up around about the end of the month. And there I will share all the things I'm planning, which is very much subject to change. Okay, thank you very much for following along today. I look forward to hopefully sharing a little bit of gold on the pink piece and another raw slug on the green piece next time. Bye now.